COVID-19 will transform the automation landscape. And we've got with us our panelists who are joining us. First up, Khaled Salem, Head of Automation and Robotics Division, Bank Al-Jazira. Khaled possesses over 11 years of experience in technology fields and has graduated from positions such as Application Specialist, System Analyst, Head of IT Infrastructure, IT Budgeting before moving to Head of Automation. So he's just going to be joining us in a moment on that. We've also got Srijit Chakraborty, who's the Director, Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, GEMS, Dubai American Academy. While an AI enthusiast, Srijit worked as an external consultant supporting schools in implementing robotics and STEM-based solution. Also, we've got, once again, Raed Hafiz, who's going to be joining us, CEO of El Rosa. Well, he's the CEO of El Rosa, which is a leading grocery delivery app in the UAE. And Raed brings along with him 25 years of experience in managing large-scale technology development and leading large commercial operations. We've also got our panelists, Abdullah Aziz Al-Khaled, who's the CIO of Al-Mishari. With 13 years in the HRT, the latest challenges he took over were implementing ERP and his systems for hospitals in various stages of operations. Also, this entire panel is going to be moderated by Axel Anjali, who's a digital transformation evangelist, founder, Logos World, senior advisory board member of Trespawn as well. Well, he's the founder of Logos World. Mr. Anjali is a management strategy advisor and an evangelist for distributed architecture and ultra-large systems. So thank you so much to our entire panel for joining us, and I would pass the live baton to none other than Axel, who's going to be moderating. And I just request my entire panel to kindly unmute yourself, and if you can just put the video button on, please. I can see Raed online. Thank you so much once again for joining. Thank you, Abdullah Aziz as well. I can see him online. Thank you so much, sir. I would just request you all to kindly unmute yourself. I could see Srijit as well, who's joining. Just request our moderator, Axel, if you could unmute yourself and put the video button on so that we can start with the panel discussion on our topic now. I can see Rohit as well. No, that's not him. Just a moment. I would just request first, Raed, you've already been with us in the previous discussion. Raed, if you don't mind, could you just give us your opening statement on how COVID?
Good morning. Let us get all together. Actually, we have some technical issues here. Give us some seconds, please. Thank you.
Axel. Thank you so much, Axel, for confirming on that.
Okay.
So, well, till Axel goes ahead and moderates this wonderful panel discussion, panelists, just allow me a moment. I'll just have some interaction with the audience on a few things. So first up, I'd request if you have any question, Q&A for this panel, I may request you all to kindly type in your questions on the question box, which is there while you're doing it as an audience. So we've got our esteemed panelists who have joined us, who've taken out their valuable time on this wonderful show. And we've got Axel, who's going to be moderating it with these wonderful panelists, and he's already online. And we're going to be having that in just about a moment.
Okay, thank you very much. So actually, let's start with the session here. Even if I do not have probably the video, you probably will not see my face for the moment. We have a technical issue with the video.
Sure.
Here, but so I will transform it into a kind of a radio sessions. At least you see our esteemed panelists. So, assalamu alaikum on everybody here. And let's start on our panel on robotic process automation and how COVID-19 might have accelerated or changed the rules of the game on this. So I wanted to introduce the panelists quickly. So we have one's Khaled Salem. He is head of automation of the Bank Al-Jazira, and he is very deep in the technology and the infrastructure for automation. We have Srijit Chakrabarti. He is working for the GEMS Dubai American Academy. So I think he can build the bridge between education and the real world for us. We have already, you just saw him before in the session before, Raid Hafiz from El Grocer, a leading grocery in the region, and who is very much putting the stakes into technology for the future retail business. We have Abdulaziz Al-Khalif. Al-Khalif is from the medical and the hospital business. So I hope from him that he's giving us a little bit insight how the whole COVID and robot process automation impacts the medical business. We will start with, but everybody of you will give us a quick overview how you see the current situation with COVID-19 with respect to robotic process automation, and maybe one or two lines also what your current research or practical work are in here. So let us start. Khaled, are you ready to say some words? I see you muted. Khaled?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Yeah, okay.
I believe COVID-19 has changed the game of the managing of the work. So most of the organization now are adopting the work from remotely, and they are performing well, I believe. Thank you.
Okay, so are you already currently working in changing things because of the COVID? Well, we'd say it's practically not the COVID, it's practically the lockdowns and all the things that came along with the COVID that changed a little bit the rules of the games. Have you changed the way how you work?
Yeah, definitely. Most of the employees who are reporting at Al-Jazira, they have now working remotely, and they are performing from home, from their they're out of the bank buildings, and they are performing as normal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Srijit, are you ready? Can you give us some words from your side? What are you currently experiencing?
Well, the COVID-19 situation was a drastic change that has got into the ecosystem of education, and especially the K12 education has been hit the hardest because we have students as young as from kindergarten all the way to grade 12 who have not particularly been experienced to online education and who need a bit more of hand-holding required. So in terms of the situation that has just emerged for the last half a year, I would say, the companies and schools who have been ahead of the curve in adopting technologies as well as integrating them in with their processes has been have seen that they have utilized this situation as a test bed for creating something for the future. And we at GEMS Education and GEMS Dubai American Academy in particular have been very lucky to have the kind of infrastructure that we have and the foresight that we had previously to take our educational practices to a more online and blended approach, and to have the tools tested beforehand. That made us realize that yes, we are on a better playing field than the competition. But overall, on the global scale, I think school institutions and the education and plethora of the educational institutions that are there are really integrating technology, and teachers need to adopt them. And our challenge is how best we can help them do that.
So Axel, I think you're still muted. Your microphone is muted. But if I'm guessing the trend, I'm guessing I'm going to be up. So let me jump into it here for saving time. I think
Oh, okay, sorry, we had a technical problem here. Actually, somebody put me on mute. Everybody's gone and on mute. Actually, I see here. Now and there. Okay, so back. So Abdulaziz, probably you did not hear my question. So I have to go back. Actually, I said actually that going on with the COVID-19, you must be quite in stress with the hospital in the medical business. So what is your take, please? Thank you.
Well, maybe the industry of healthcare got impacted differently with COVID-19 because we opened our doors. We are operating more. We have, more demand on our services. The problem or the challenge was that our client were on lockdown. So what we could do is just extend our care to come to their area, not to let them come to us. And that opened door for extended care, the care that could reach the patient in their own premise, in their own room or home. So with that opportunity came a lot of also adoption of technology. So, we augmented our present online, and with that also have the ability to book from a simple chat with WhatsApp chat or any other type of chat. We have the one on the website itself and the conversational chat bot inside WhatsApp, provided to our client. That's the whole impact that we face. That's nothing compared to the huge bound that we gone through because of the COVID-19. Right now, people, as my colleague have been already saying, they accepted the work from home concept. They accepted the, a little bit of lever with security of information outside the premise of those organizations. So a lot of advancement and flexibility have been possible because of this pandemic. Other than that, of course, we are keeping busy, hopefully also keeping our staff safe and supporting our client. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Abdulaziz, thank you very much for this good insight. I'm not on mute anymore. So, right, you have already had your session before, but maybe you give a brief wrap up again. What are you doing? And you are also out of one of those businesses who have probably benefited from the lockdowns. And give us your view on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to look at it as a benefit, but definitely we saw a significant increase in our demand. But I would want to focus more on, COVID-19. There was a peak, and there's a lot of things that we had to react with the peak. But more importantly is what will happen now, right? What's the new normal? And what one silver lining is that COVID-19 destroyed and eliminated a lot of these established paradigms and established, taboos, if you will, that businesses, for example, mandated having physical paper. For businesses, it used to be that retailers would mandate that we have to go and collect our commission check. It had to be physical. It used to be that our customers would demand that they would be paying cash. All of these that used to be that people would never agree to move away from are now agreed on and accepted as normal. So I think all of us have seen this cartoon where COVID-19 is the main factor for digital transformation, well ahead of the CEO or the CIO in everybody's company. So now that we are now moving ahead, and now that working from home or online payment or digital invoicing is acceptable, how do you move forward? How do you upgrade your business processes? How do you upgrade your customer engagement? And how do you upgrade your vendor engagement and supplier engagement so that you can continue driving digital transformation, whether it's automation or anything else. So I think that's the interesting thing. That's the exciting area, is looking forward how we're going to be, operating in this new normal, if you will.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Ray. A question directly to you, actually. Do you think this is a temporary phenomenon, or will our businesses be changed completely forever in this way? And how do you see the technology in the next 3 years that is going really to help us to change or transform businesses or even reinvent businesses?
The question is for me, Axel?
Yeah, yes, for you. Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't believe it's temporary. I do believe there are some lasting effects. And as I said, customer behavior is changing. Customer expectations are changing. So, in our analysis, we look at demographics, and it used to be that, millennials and Gen Zs were always desiring, online engagement, but it was never mandatory because the business wasn't making it available. Now, this generation, whether it's millennials or Gen Zs, which make up a significant portion of our region, are now mandating. It's no longer desirable. So we're going to be looking at significant change in customer behavior, and at the same time, the businesses have to react. It was no longer an excuse that it's not possible. It was possible. People were able to adapt to it. And so now it should be the norm. Now, I think technology will continue engaging. I mean, I think if you look at, whether it's RPA or AI, today they're enabling a lot of improvements. And I shared some examples. A number of other colleagues have shared examples where they were able to deploy these technologies to help with the new scenarios that we were facing. It will continue. That rule has been valid for the last 20, 30 years, and it will continue accelerating, doubling efficiencies and productivity every 2 years. And so we should only expect more and more. I'm really excited to listen to Wade, to see what we're also doing on the educational, because we need to enable our new generation to be able to talk about automation and AI as a native language, because that's going to be the name of the game in the future.
Okay, thank you. You gave me already the keyword for passing over maybe to Srijit when you said education. And Srijit, since you're related to the education business, how do you react on this COVID situation now? How quickly or how deep do you have to change your education strategies? And do you think that we will see kind of AI-driven education trainers, so people will learn with a computer, with an AI on the other side?
Well, yeah, that depends on how we define AI and automation. It's a very broad subject, and we have been integrating AI into our daily lives, and without even knowing it. For example, every email we write on our Gmail has an AI backing it. So it also depends on what is our end objective, rather than just looking at having a robot replacing a teacher. Well, I do not think that's a good way forward, but I really want the teachers, the process of the teaching should be complemented with the help of technology. And with the help or with the onset of COVID and the lockdown, what it has done is completely made that process and allowed us to do that in a very short amount of time. So we didn't have much time to test our processes, but we just had to deploy them. And we had to learn a lot during those few months of lockdown, but that has given us a big advantage in terms of what the future of education could look like when we can move on from maybe a brick and mortar school to an online school, wherein the rooms and walls won't be the constraint anymore. The world would be our campus, for example. Also, the school schedules, rather than having arbitrary timetables, which is more like a factory-focused way of deployment, we could have an emergent schedule which can be adapted towards the learner. also looking at personalization of the education system. We are looking at moving from a fixed curriculum to an integrated way of curriculum, which also works with businesses. So we are trying to see how we can work together as a school to modify the curriculum so that our students are prepared better for the higher education as well as even for the workforce. And also we are trying to move away, or we should be trying to moving away from a one path only education system wherein, okay, you join in the kindergarten, you have middle school, you have high school, and you graduate and go to higher education, but also to have students multiple pathways, which are again, depending on their creative outlets, depending on their passion, depending on what they want to do, they will have options to pursue those personalized pathways and having them connected to mentors, for example. And everything can be done digitally right now. And the COVID has done that for us. It has been, I would say, one good output for the COVID lockdown is because the world has become much smaller in terms of way the education landscape was before. So I feel the sooner we as an education ecosystem adapt to this new way of learning, the better will be for our future.
Okay, thank you very much, Rijita. That's a good insight in this. And Khaled, you are out of the banking business, and the banks, especially in the Arabian countries, have always been a kind of a front runners when it came to RPA and robotic process automation. So how would you describe currently the state of using chatbots and the AI-driven workflows behind in the banking sector?
Yeah, of course. So from the banking sector, RPA and artificial intelligence field can be fitting powerfully in this actually day-to-day work. So and especially for COVID-19 situations, the world has decided to change and to adopt the social distance to stop spreading COVID-19 virus. So a lot of organizations, they must obey, they must to comply with these instructions. There are a lot of prerequisites where the world were not prepared yet in order to avoid cybersecurity threats or security breaching. So the RPA and robotics here is the man for this job. So easily with the robotics, we can scale up, scale down the robots. It's a matter of few clicks. So we can import a lot of robots where they can perform the day-to-day activity in very smoothly, experimentally, and with minimum cost required. Also, in terms of the turnaround, robots are acting as human in most of the work. So they can work 24/7, no weekends, no holidays, no bad modes, no other human excuses. And they can also increase their process efficiency up to 95%. And actually, there are real examples where the robots has increased and improved the efficiency. So the process were taken around 2.5 hours. It was minimized to be in 4 minutes, and from 15 minutes to 90 seconds. When we talk about the quality of the work, definitely when you streamline the process and when you automate the process, you are increasing the process operation and you're enhancing the process execution time. With robotics and with RPA technology, definitely we can reach up to 90% quality rate. I believe RPA is and robotics, chatbots, all these technologies is going to do a lot of enhancement of the process, a lot of enhancement of the productivity, optimizing the cost, and I'm sure that in coming few years they will change the game of the work.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Khaled, for this insight. A little question, maybe first to you, but also to the round, We have 1 minute left. Does robot process automation increase privacy, or would it actually be a risk for the privacy of the people? Because that is what many people are concerned of when they talk with artificial intelligence, with computers. Are they going spied? Are the data abducted? So what do you think? Khaled, maybe from the banking sector, because you're directly involved in this one. What is your take?
Yeah, definitely from banking sector, and as you know that customer data confidentiality is the main concern of the banks. So for some special processes like AML request processes, security processes, the RBA is going to, I believe, to increase the level of security, since that the process is going to be performing between the system and with digital worker. So I believe yes, it's going to increase the level of the security.
And Raid, what is in the retail business? You take the same view?
I mean, to me, I don't think there is a direct impact. I think today our information is digital, and whether the increase of automation or AI, there has to be enough protections in place for privacy. But then we also need to be able to get whatever is not personally identifiable data and make use of it through automation. So I don't think it will make an impact. The protections and the systems in place need to be put regardless to protect people's privacy.
Okay. So we are running out of time here. So I will say thank you to all of you for participating in this panel. I hope you still hear me, because it still says there is some technical problem, so it's sometimes irritating. Anyway, thank you very much for participating, and I'm sorry that you could not see my face today, but the camera, it's on here. Everything seems to be working, but it did not merge into the Zoom technology for this moment. Thank you very much for this, giving us a good insights, and keep up with the good work during the COVID times. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to once again our incredible panel, and thank you so much, Axel, for conducting it so beautifully.